himself into the lead. Miles!
Look at that shooting accuracy.
He's going to cross the line as a deserving World Cup final champion.
Welcome everybody to Budapest for the third and final World Cup of the 2026 Pentathlon season. After this it will be the World Cup final and the World Championships, a final chance for the athletes to get points as they look to qualify for the World Cup final. And let's remind ourselves of how modern pentathlon takes place over 5 disciplines. We begin as always with the fencing direct elimination. 5 rounds of direct elimination, the first of 5 touches, or the most touches after a minute if the priority is on your side, progresses through to the next round. Winner overall takes 250 points before we move on to the obstacles, where you have to get past the 8 obstacles. The faster your time, the more points you get. Swimming reduced from 200 metres to 100 metres this year. The faster the time, the more points available. And then we conclude things with the ever-dramatic laser on. 5 laps of the 600-metre course, and straight to the shooting range right from the first lap, where you have to light up the 5 targets in order to progress past the shooting range. A time of around 10 seconds and below is what the athletes will be aiming for each shooting routine. The first over the finish line is the winner. This is Modern Pentathlon 2026. It's fast, it's frantic, and it is going to be a very, very exciting World Cup. So these are your athletes taking part in the women's final, and we will begin our coverage as always with fencing direct elimination. So our first 2 bouts to bring you coverage of, McKelly and Bryson, 2 Olympians from Paris against up-and-coming Poppy Clark versus bronze medalist from Paris, Sunmin Sun. Bryson then with priority, and just a couple of seconds to go against McKelly, looking to see this bout out, and there we go. Bryson victorious 5-3. Sun in charge in those early stages against Clark, but that you feel is a big victory for Bryson as she looks to continue her good form from the previous competition in Pazarchik not that long ago in the World Cup 2. Clark versus Sun in the final few stages, and the Olympic bronze medalist is victorious. So this is your final, Bryson and Sun. This is how they made it to the final. Let's join the coverage in the final 30 seconds of the direct elimination final. Bryson on the right, Sun on the left. Bryson with priority with just over 20 seconds to go. Makes it 3-1. And Sun now in a really difficult position, because that priority rule means even if the scores were level, then Bryson would be victorious. 20 seconds to go, and Bryson now just needs 1 more touch. Sun now would need 3 without reply, and it's looking very, very good for the multiple World Cup gold medalist. Karenza Bryson does indeed get that 5th and final touch, and she wins fencing direct elimination. Absolutely delighted, celebrating in front of the crowd, and this is what it does to the standings. Bryson in first place with 250 points, and you can see the points spread out as we go down the standings. So we begin the coverage of obstacle with Blanka Guzzi. Levan eliminated, so that will be the end of her competition effectively, though she will probably continue. Guzzi lands it now, finish wall in sight. Guzzi, the inform athlete, touches the buzzer. It's a time of 32.4. Guzzi already with a gold and a silver so far this season. She's doing very well here in front of her home crowd. Clark versus McKelly now. McKelly, a multiple world champion and of course an Olympian from the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, but it is Poppy Clark, the young British athlete, who moves into the advantage through the over-under section and now into the flying hoops. Good pace this from Clark, 20 seconds or so registered on the clock. Lands it with now just a few obstacles remaining. Climbing holds before the finish wall in sight. This is really quick from Clark. Lands it, finish wall, and it's going to be a time of 32, just over 32.2. McKelly finishing off her run, and it is a time of 41.28 for McKelly. So Clark and McKelly high five on the finish line. So Sun and Bryson up next. Bryson making her way through the tilting ladders just ahead of Sun Sun. Good pace through the tilting ladders there through Bryson. Throws herself over, under and through. And good pace through the flying hoops, but Sun coming back well here. This is really impressive from Bryson, it has to be said. Lands it now into the giant steps with the climbing holds in sight. Carenza Bryson of Great Britain, multiple World Cup gold medalist, looking to regain her form here in the 2026 season. Finish wall in sight, Sun coming back strong, and Bryson hits the buzzer of 39.2. Sun looks frustrated, it's the 39.8. And that means that Poppy Clark leads after the first two disciplines, and we are turning our attention now to the swimming pool. So swimming has changed in pentathlon this year, with the course length halved from 200 meters to 100, meaning we have much quicker swimming times. The quicker you are, the more points you get. Final 10 seconds or so then of the second swimming heat. Erdos, Slovachkova, Elidir, Micheli, Valencia and Dervel all battling now in the pool, and fastest is Valencia. Micheli in second place, Slovachkova in third. Each second worth 5 points to your score. And you can see Valencia just over a minute as quick. So we join heat 3 and around the halfway stage, 50 meters completed, and you can see in first place it's Guzzi, a couple of seconds ahead of Clark, who's in last. Guzzi with a chance now to move up the leaderboard. If Guzzi starts in the top 5, you would feel she is probably favourite for gold. She's got such a good laser run. So final 25 meters of the third swimming heat, and the battle rages on. Finish wall in sight. That there is Blanka Guzzi, who is the in-form athlete here in Budapest in front of a home crowd, and she's quickest in the third swimming heat. A time of 1.069, just ahead of Sun, and this is how it affects the standings. Guzzi is in second place, just a point behind Areva in first place. And that is your chasing pack as we look forward now to the laser run. So this is how they start. Bryson starting in the top 3, could be dangerous from there. Erdos and Slovachkova, both good laser runners a little bit further down. Zuxel, you feel with 56 seconds off the pace, maybe might be a little bit too hard for her, as she looks to retain the gold medal she won in Pazarczyk at the previous World Cup. Run away then in laser run, and the athletes make their way to the shooting range for their first round of shooting. 5 laps, 5 shooting routines where the athletes have to light up the 5 targets. It's a 600 meter course. Areva, Guzzi, Bryson, Sun and Clark all at the range. Valencia arrives as well, but who gets away first? Areva maintains her lead. Bryson up into second place. Guzzi a little bit slower with a bit of work to do in that opening lap. Sun makes up the top 3. So Areva and Bryson pacing each other out the front. Big block of athletes. Look at Poppy Clark, by the way, coming back around the outside and up into the top 3. Carenza, Bryson, Sun, Areva and Clark not really separated by much, and Blanka Guzzi moves her way through the field and up back into first place. So the crowd will be absolutely delighted by this very loud atmosphere here in Budapest. It'll get even louder if Blanka Guzzi can hang on. Back at the shooting range, you can see her target's top right, just missing that second shot, but making her way through the routine. A former laser-on world champion, Blanka Guzzi, has carried on into her senior pentathlon career, famous for having a really good laser run. Clark versus Guzzi then is the battle to keep your eyes on. And Poppy Clark has never won a World Cup medal before, but is certainly not overwhelmed by this experience. In a battle for gold as things stand, Blanka Guzzi keeping track of the British athlete. There's around a second between them as they make their way back past the noisy grandstand and back towards the shooting range again. Clark versus Guzzi is the battle of this final so far. So back at the range we go. This is great shooting from Clark, and away goes Clark with a 6.69. Unbelievable shooting from Clark. Guzzi with 10 seconds, that's decent. Sun and Areva at the range. So it is Clark leading Guzzi, as it was on the previous lap. Areva's been dropped back a little bit here. So you feel this is now becoming a two-way battle for gold. And Clark, who's never won a World Cup medal, is up against the in-form athlete of the season. Guzzi has not finished off the podium this season so far. and she races past Clark to retake the race lead. And look just how much that means to the Hungarians watching on in the crowd. Guzi back round the corner, and she will begin the next lap in first place. But Clark is not being dropped here, and this is a really impressive performance. Shooting routine 4, just 2 shooting routines to go. This one and one more. You can see Guzi's accuracy top right there. Pretty accurate, isn't it? Right in the middle, and that is identical shooting. Well, it's actually Clark who gets out first. Guzi losing a little bit of time at the range again, but you would argue the quicker of the 2 athletes on the course when it comes to flat out running. So Guzi once again has to get the job done and gets past Clark, this time outside before they're back in the arena. So arguably over the course of the 2 laps, Clark has dropped a little bit there from Guzi. The gap 3.4 seconds. Final shooting routine, and Guzi with a little bit wild on the second shot, but regains composure. If Clark can get out here in first place, you'd give her a chance. Excellent shooting once again from Clark, and it is going to be a flat-out sprint between Guzi and Clark for gold here in Budapest. A 2-way battle. The battle for bronze is interesting as well. Laura Heredia of Spain has never finished on a World Cup podium. She's in the mix for bronze. But we focus on Guzi and on Clark. A quick look over the shoulder then from Guzi, who still sees Clark holding on. Guzi used to disappearing off into the distance, but she's being made to work really hard for this one. In they come, and Guzi has a grimace on her face because this is a tough battle, but I think she's going to do it. She's got the cut over Clark here. Round the corner, just one more turn to go. Blanka Guzi, the queen of Budapest. She won gold in Cairo. She won silver in Pazarchik, and it's now going to be a second gold of the season for the athlete who finished 4th at the Olympic Games. 2026 has been nothing but medals. Blanka Guzi wins gold in Budapest. An amazing performance in front of her home crowd. And it's a first World Cup medal for Poppy Clark, who looks absolutely delighted, straight away embraces Guzi. And look at this, Laura Heredia finishes on a World Cup podium for the first time in tears as she crosses the line. Horeeva just missing out on a medal, and the Olympic bronze medalist Sun Min Sun having to settle for 5th place. Strong finish that from Anna Yurt in the background, by the way. Eleanor McKelly, ever consistent, as is Bryson. And that then, folks, concludes the laser run and the women's final. What an exciting battle between Guzi and Clark. As we now hear from our race winner.
In the whole day I was under control and under focus, so that's why could I win the competition. But look at Poppy, look at Laura, incredible athletes. So yes, I'm really happy to win in Budapest again after 2023, and there are many of my family members, my friends, my mental staff, my coaches. So finally they could see me winning a competition.
Well, Blanka Guzi is a cool customer, but that gold medal means the absolute world to her and her team. As we turn our attention now to the men's final. If the women's final is anything to go by, strap yourselves in, folks. We're in for a blast. Let's check out the athletes then competing in the men's final, and they will be separated in groups of 6. We'll focus on individual athletes as the competition progresses. But these 18 athletes have had to come through qualifications and semi-finals to get here, and it is not easy to get into the final of Pentathlon. Hassan and Boom on piste A, Floro and Dog on piste B, Shaba Boom carrying the joy of the local crowd who've had a really fun few days here in Budapest watching their stars. Floro and Dog 2-1 into those final few stages. Marvin Dog has never won a World Cup gold. He's multiple World Cup medalist, a World Cup final silver medalist in 2019 as well. Shaba Boom, meanwhile, was a world champion and a World Cup final gold medalist back-to-back in 2024. Dog attacks. Floro, though, is victorious on piste B. So there is still half a second to go, but this is going to be too much now for Dog, who would need 2 touches here to level the score and go through on priority. The clock ticks down to 0 and Dog is out, so Florent progresses. We focus now on the final few seconds of Hassan versus Bom, and Shababom now with the priority, leads 3-2. Hassan would need 2 touches now, gets a little bit ahead of himself there, and they're underway. Hassan needs a touch now. Bom now opens up an unassailable lead, 4-2. He is going to progress. Hassan needs 3 without reply, and does indeed concede at the end. Shababom keeping the crowd on their toes and acknowledges them. That's your final, folks. Boom versus Florent. And we've got a couple of seconds to go, and Shababom now looking pretty good for victory here. Florent, well, he gets the touch, but it won't be enough. The clock ticks down to 0, and Shababom, in front of his home crowd, wins fencing direct elimination, picking up 250 points, putting him first place in the standings after fencing. So we join the obstacle discipline from Heat 3 onwards. Forrest and Suma, great pace through the tilting ladders up from Forrest. Over, under and through into the flying hoops. This is electric pace from Forrest, by the way. Skipping through the giant steps into the climbing holds. The world record set earlier in the competition and qualifications. Won't be beaten by Forrest, but it's not a bad time at all. A 22.21, that's the quickest time of the final so far. Hassan versus Dog. And Hassan getting caught on that middle tilting ladder, which allows Dog the chance to move into the lead, into flying hoops. And safe from Dog, and quick actually, carries quite a lot of pace through that final flying hoop into the climbing holds. Hassan's coming back strong, on paper the quicker of the 2 athletes, but Dog up the finish wall, and it's a time of just over 26. Hassan will feel the frustration from getting caught on that tilting ladder, takes it out on the safety bar. Florent versus Bom, our final heat, Heat 9. Bom into the tilting ladder. Oh no, the mistake from Bom, and that could be costly. Oh, heartbreaks for Shababom, who was in such a good position. And Florent continues with good pace through and into the climbing holds. Bom looking to recover here, but that could be really costly. Florent, finish wall in sight, and he hits the buzzer. And you feel Florent a real medal prospect here. Meanwhile, has Shababom lost the chance to win gold in front of his home crowd? Well, it drops him down to 4th place. He is just 9 points off the lead as things stand. And we're back in the pool for the second swimming heat in men's final. Olajars, Grich, Forrest, Seo, Tuma and Tovkai, the middle pack heading into swimming as we approach the final 25 metres of this second swimming heat. Olajars looking pretty good in the battle with Grich and Tovkai on the other side of the pool. As we approach the wall, who goes fastest? It is Grich, who in the end gets in just above Tovkai. Could Grich be a medal prospect here? Certainly feels like he could. Third and final swimming heats. We're over halfway now. Dog, Florent, Hassan, Bom, Alashkar and Bori. Dog at the front of your screen as they turn. Dog has never won a World Cup gold medal. Could this be a first for him? He's historically quite slow in the pool, although the 100-metre distance does maybe give him a little bit of extra space to play with. Alashkar fastest, Bom second, Bori third. And these are your standings after the swimming. And you can see Alashkar is right up there with Florent. And this is going to be a really interesting laser run. So strap yourselves in, folks. The top 6 separated by just 10 seconds. Olajars in 7th place, also just 10 seconds off the lead. And you feel anyone in this race has a chance of a medal. Yes, that's just how close this sport can get. 2 race leaders lead us out the blocks, although Alashkar already opens up a half a second gap over Florent as they approach the range. It's going to be so tense at this shooting range. One bad shoot and that could upset your chances of gold. Alashkar is having that as well. Look at his target top right. He's missing everything. Oh, you have to feel for Milan and Alashkar. who still has not got that World Cup medal to his name. But Dog moves into the race lead, and Alashkar still at the range. Floro, Greach, Bomb, Hassan and Bori, Forrest all moving ahead of Alashkar now, who you feel probably has already lost out on that chance of a medal. Brilliant opening couple of shots from Dog. Third one and fourth one are a little bit wayward. He's struggling to find his routine. There we go. Meanwhile, we skip to Floro. In the top right, you can see his graphics. 3 out of the 5 for Floro, and Dog's away. So Dog holds on to his lead. The 16-second shoot is about as slow as you would want it. Ideally quicker than that. Less than 10 is what you're aiming for. Greach does that. Floro with a 20-second shoot. So Greach brings himself back into the gold medal conversation. The gap then has opened up between Dog and Floro. Back at the shooting range we go. And all eyes now on Forrest, who's never won a World Cup medal. Must be feeling that pressure because those first 2 shots are a little bit wayward. 1 out the 5. There we go. Forrest finally makes it 2. Dog is away though. Great shooting from Marvin Dog. Who gets away in second place? Floro has just looked really, really good here. Greach still hanging on to Floro. But the gap now between the chasing second and third placed athletes and Marvin Dog has opened up. Floro and Greach really now in their own battle. Forrest hanging on to bronze. Dog at the range again, focused and shooting. Gives himself a little bit of breathing space. This is good accuracy from Dog. 3 out of 5. He's missed a couple, he's made a couple. It's 3 missed. Oh, there we go, he's away finally. So Dog with a 12.4. Floro with a 6.09. That is sensational. And that has closed the gap right up. So it now just turns into a flat-out sprint for the remainder of this lap. Can Floro close that gap even more? Well, the pressure will be starting to mount on Dog, who simply will not be satisfied with anything but gold here. He's won plenty of silvers in the past as the bell rings for the final lap. But here it is, folks, your battle for gold. 1 more shoot. Dog probably has the better sprint finish of the 2 athletes, if it comes down to that. But here we go. Dog, pistol in hand. Misses first target, misses second target. Floro's made 1, Dog's made 1. 2 out of 5 for Floro. 3 out of 5 for Floro. Dog with 2 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for Floro. Floro's away with an 8.6. Brilliant shooting. Has he stolen gold from Dog? Dog now has to get the work done on the track. Marvin Dog of Germany versus Hugo Floro of France. And there's a bit of a gap opened up there. Let's see what it is. 2.2. But Marvin Dog's found some pace. He's kept it for the final lap. Kowalczyk has made his way up into 3rd place. Brilliant final shoot from Kowalczyk. Sub 6 seconds. But Marvin Dog is now closing in on Hugo Floro. This is the battle for gold, and it's turned into a 3-way battle. Brilliant from Kowalczyk, who started in 13th place. Has Dog saved some energy? He looks the faster of the 2. Applies the pressure. He's going to go up the outside of Floro. And he does it. Marvin Dog steals back the race lead. He started in 3rd. He's back up to 1st. And we have just a few hundred meters remaining of this race. Marvin Dog steals the race lead. And look at that turn of pace. And Marvin Dog puts behind him years of hurt to finally storm towards the finish line in 1st place with enough of a gap to secure himself a 1st World Cup gold medal. Marvin Dog of Germany has done it. He looks to the sky, he looks behind him, and he looks at the finish tape. He is a gold medalist on the World Cup circuit for the 1st time. Hugo Floro with an incredible 2nd place. Kowalczyk racing through the field, making up 10 places to get bronze. Greach just missing out on the top 3. And superb event from Forrest, who finishes in the top 5. Bori in 6th. And for Shababoom, it is a case of what could have been the mistaken obstacle proving costly. He finishes in 7th place.
All the coaches, please leave the field of play. All the coaches.
Let's hear it from first-time gold medalist Marvin Dog.
Yeah, it feels like really special for me because last year I didn't train. Normally I thought I would stop, but then that September I got the call that they would give me a chance to come back. So I knew to work hard to come back on the same level because there are so many strong athletes and with the new discipline. But thanks to all the other athletes in my training group who showed me like all the things at the OCR, I was able to catch up And yeah, this is not just a medal for me, it's just a medal for the whole team, you know.
We'll be back again soon, folks, for the World Cup final. But from World Cup 3, congratulations to all of our medalists. It's bye for now.
Oh, flying through the air. Wow, that is unbelievable.
Well, she did 3 moves once again, makes it look easy.
Unbelievable talent. He's got himself into the lead. Smile.
Look at that shooting accuracy.
She's going to cross the line as a deserving World Cup final champion.